Would you like a bit of this? Or a little bit of that, missus? A little bit of what you like does you no harm, and you know that. How do you? Righty-ho, let's get on with the review, shall we? Hello, and welcome to episode 168 of Prog Review. And in this great concept review thingy thread, I'm going to be talking about The Liberty of Norton Folgate by Madness. Okay, you can stop it now. Stop throwing the shoes at the screen and whinging that this isn't a concept album and this isn't prog. You know, you're wrong. And you're so wrong, because I'm stating my case that this is one of the best concept albums of at least the last 5 years. Now, before we start, my mate Darren, who's a right diamond geezer, he's going to show you something right fanciful. Oh yes, he is. Now take it away, my son. Well, watch your cock and thwomp. Well, I didn't throw it down then. This is the Madness of Liberty Folgate box set. Look what they've done. They made it look like a really old book. And that clever. Yeah. Unfortunately, the materials aren't that strong, so I can't really manhandle it too much. But here it is. This is the contents therein. I get. But hey, look at this. See what that is? Can you tell me what that is? That's the microscope looking at skin or blood tissue cells or whatever. See, it's in your DNA. London is in your DNA. And there's a little Madness badge that I can show my allegiance to the Nutty Boys. Yes, indeed. And here's my membership book and my card to show that I'm fully paid up member. And it explains a little about the old record, and there's the band themselves doing their usual wacky thing. And we could even make some cocktails in the if we so wish. Now let's go into the actual CD itself, and there we go. It's in this deluxe kind of booklety type thing. There you go. There's two CDs to choose from, as you can see. Whereas the standard edition comes on one CD, so let's have a look at the old booklet. And again, it tells you, it's all done in the oldie worldy kind of like an old program kind of style, and it gives you an idea of what happened, how they recorded the albums. Quite interesting. The production notes quite interesting. You got all the lyrics, so you can sing along if you so wish. And there's a lot of lyrics to remember indeed. Yes, there is. And that's what's on the other CDs in the box. A little bit overkill in the back there, but hey, we'll forgive them. And it's all deluxe. It's all deluxe and delightful. And there's the two CDs for you themselves. There they are on the Lucky 7 record label. Yes, indeed. And right, what else is there? We got this. This is done like a cassette. You see what I've done there? And it's like rough demos of the songs and some live stuff recorded at the Acme Empire, I believe, or somewhere like that. So you get a live album and you get demos as well. So it's quite nice, isn't it? Oh yes. And we all know what this is. It's a bleeding great poster in it. There's always a bleeding great poster with which to adorn your boudoir. Oh God, he's only gone and got it out again. Yeah, that's not the first time that's been said in my direction at level. That accusation has been levelled in my direction, so I shall tuck it away before anybody has a really good look at it. And here we have is a letter from the band, just saying to leave the money behind the radiator pipes, radiator pipes at the toilets at Waterloo Station or something like that. But you know, the guys have a sense of humour. It's a rich English sense of humour. So, oh blimey, he's throwing it around like he just don't care, that boy. And oops, let me just tip that. And then we've got the vinyl itself. Again, the track listing is different, a couple of tracks missing. And yeah, it's a nice little album. I don't know if it's 180 grams. There's a little slight wobble in it, but it feels solid. Listen, let's do a wobble test. You ready for that? Listen. See, it's a slight wobble, but it's a nice vinyl. It sounds nice as well. I've played it. It sounds very, 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 very good. And so you get the whole package in a nice little box. So let's put it all away. Let's tuck it inside. There we go. In you go. La-di-da. Don't forget the badge. And there's my membership book. And that's the booklet. Now I'll add you back to the big boy. Take it away. Well, I think we'll all agree that was very, very informative. Yes. Now back to the review. Indeed, I've just got to make me notes a bit bigger so I can read them, because me peepers ain't what they used to be. No, they ain't. Righty ho. I shall begin. Yes, at the beginning. Begin. For me, this album has quite a personal significance, because when it was released on the 19th of May 2009, it came at a time when I was going through a deep crisis. You most of you know what I'm talking about, and this acted like medicine for my soul. Yes, indeed. Music, the healer. Somewhere in a barn conversion in the wilds of Norfolk, I would don my halo of distortion and mow the grass like that, and generally take my stress out on the lawn. And I use this album as my soundtrack. Now, this is influenced by the novel This Bright Field by William Taylor, and takes up the works of Peter Ackroyd and his biography of London. And so Graham Macpherson, or Suggs to you, uses these works and begins to conjure up images of almost a mystical part of London, the Liberty of Norton Folgate. Now, the interesting thing about this album, this area, and this album, teeth. It's the teeth, loves. It's the teeth. Yes, my dears. Yes. The interesting thing about the Liberty of Norton Folgate is it did exist, and it was just outside Bishopsgate, and it still actually exists today. You can find the street. You can actually find where it is. And it was a liberty. That's exactly what it was. It represented freedom and existed outside the laws of the rest of London. And so it became home to many ne'er-do-wells, the poets, the artisans, and the religious refugee. Now, my ancestors, trace them back to, the Jagos, that's the family name, were French Huguenots, and they came over, fleeing religious persecution, and they took their home in the East End of London. Possibly, I like to think, in the Liberty of Norton Folgate, perhaps, who knows, and plied their respective trade of the rag trade and weaving silk. So, instantly, I have a genetic connection to this record, albeit a slightly romanticised one. One likes to imagine you were a part of this. Now, the album itself, as you've seen, comes in many forms and formats, each of them different from the last. Yes, indeed. This fact itself marks it out as something quite special and unique amongst the concept album. The standard edition exists on one CD and contains 15 tracks, whereas the LP features just 13 tracks, probably for sound quality purposes, 2 tracks missing. And the box set, or whammo, spans 2 CDs and gives you 22 tracks of joy to work through, and of course a completely different track list, and each one of them is slightly skewed and different. So each one is a different listening experience. Yeah. Now, I'm going to be talking about the most common version, the standard 1 CD edition, and there'll be a link in the old description, where you can go and purchase your copy if you decide to discover the album for yourself. But be warned, this isn't prog as you know it, but it does contain one of the most progtastic songs of its generation. Yeah. Forget your Stephen Wilsons and whatnot. Oh yeah, there's one gem on this record that blows all the new wave prog right out of the water. Yeah, yes indeedy, believe me. And you can trust me, can't you? You can all trust me. I never lie. Huh? Right, so the album itself, it begins with Overture. Reminds me of classical music, and even Tommy adopted that, and it's a quick portent of the musical themes on the final track, played in a musical style, and if you're familiar with the band Madness, it's quite out of style for them. And then blammo, right in a mush, right in a cake hole, we're into the first proper song of the album, We Are London. Now, this was a song that healed my soul because being a native Londoner, and you can't escape the city, you know, it's wound tightly into your being, into your core, and this song called me back, called me home to live at a distance from my hometown, joined by a single red thread, the central line. Yes, indeed. Now, the whole of London is name-checked here, and it's a great saxophone riff that wouldn't be, you know, too upsetting to a King Crimson fan or two. But it is a pop song, and I know some of you have issues with pop songs. You turn your nose up at it, but fuck you. You're idiots. Don't turn your nose up at anything. Except rap. Oh, no, not even rap. I like the Beastie Boys, what can I say? And that other lot. But anyway, yeah, it is a pop song, and it sings of values of being, you know, part of the family of London and living together in harmony. Again, it's idealised, and you have to get on with people in London because there's no bloody room, is there? And it's a great opener, and I love it, and I love the fact that you can live as you please in London without anybody stepping on your toes, metaphorically speaking. Literally, yeah, people step on your toes because there's no room. And also illustrates exactly what I despise about village life, the inability to disappear completely. You know, everybody knows when you've had a fart in the bath when you live in a village. Oh, yes, indeed. Now, second track up is Sugar and Spice, and it's a love song in the classic madness style. Then again, certain parts of the lyric have a personal resonance to me. You know, certain bits of it, you know, leap out. Oh, we did that. But it's not a happy song, and this is where this isn't strictly a narrative concept album. It's a thematic one dealing with various characters living in the big city. It's a much broader strokes than that. Now, while I was busy mowing the lawn in Norfolk, I was pretty much listening to this album on strict rotation, and in my mind I'd actually written a film script and worked out a narrative of all the songs, yeah. And I managed to make a proper story, and it's about unrequited love and, you know, mixed race relationships and racism and waking up to find yourself in this liberty of Norton, Folgate. But, you know, unfortunately, it's locked up here and will die with me, as it has no way of becoming reality, because such is the nature of this record. Each song, you know, has its own story, and each story is compelling, and no one's going to want my scripts, you know. Oh, poor Darren, boo-hoo, oh, he's at it again, boo-hoo-hoo. But I digress. Indeed, Forever Young, which is the next track up, deals with coming to terms with one's mortality and wishing that one, you know, could have one more spin of the wheel and keeping yourself young at heart. And it's like the advice from father to son, you know. You get to the end of your life and you say, hey, don't make the mistakes I've done, you know. So now, the next track, Dust Devil, is the complete opposite side of the coin, and it's about a girl who's completely out of control, full of life, letting herself, you know, spiral out of control. And again, you know, for me, she could be the love of the protagonist of the piece, giving him a hard time and remaining out of touch, you know, untamable, you know, untenable, unreachable. Then we have, you know, Rainbows, and the backing vocals and staccato playing reminds me instantly of Tommy. You know, I've got the power to heal, you know, all that kind of stuff. Dun 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 dun. Anyway, and it deals with the birth of one of the characters and his inbuilt instinct to grab the world by the throat, even though, you know, being a bit down at heel, you know, not having the best start in life. That Close, again, it deals with relationships, but this one's a slightly different dynamic. It's one that, you know, they don't really want people to know about. It's quiet and unseen from others because they've done and seen things they shouldn't necessarily have done. Again, it's a song about misspent youth and, you know, and about memory, and it could be, you know, about the father, a character of the piece, you know, remembering, you know, times. Now, for me, one of the most satisfying songs of the album, in terms of storytelling, is Mark II, or MK2, if you say it wrong. It's the name of a car, Jaguar. Do you have those in America? Jaguar Mark II. And it's about a liaison by partners unseen. No, it's about, in broad terms, this is a result of a sexual liaison, you know, the old jiggery-pokery, to put it bluntly, you know. How's your father? Bit on the side, you know. Slap and tickle. I can do this all night. That's what she said. Anyway, now, thematically, this has been covered before in the past by Genesis. You know that band, that group? guy with the dodgy haircut, on Selling England by the Pound, cinema show. Remember, we talked about that before, the live listen. And the story here tells of a meeting between a rich city boy, perhaps. Again, it's not spelt out, and his female quarry. And again, I like to think that it takes its inspiration from T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, and it's quite an effective song, but it's too short. I want to know more. God damn it, give me more. Is it a guy discarding his mistress, or an escort surviving an encounter with a punter? And you have to figure out those questions for yourself. That's the beauty of the song. And then we hear the birds singing. Now I'm just gonna, because 12-minute mark, it's gonna go on a bit. Just bear with me, loves. You didn't even see the join, did you? No. Right, so where was we? Now, yeah, by the part of the record, you're thinking, oh my God, love is turning sour. Indeed, that theme continues with the story of a lovesick guy waiting for his girl to come home. But alas, she's too busy on the town. That's the title of the song. See what I did? I worked it in to the thing now. Oh, fuck me, I'm clever. And it's a great duet, and it tells a great story, but this time the woman's in control and she has the power. And on the back of Mark II, the band do a great job of like flipping the power struggle of the sexes. They flip it right around 360. Before, you get the idea that it's the man is in control with Mark II, and then this time it's the woman who's in control. You know, hey, you're boring, I'm leaving you, sort of thing. And then we head onto the Northern Line and travel further onto the Tube and into North London with Bingo. And again, it's another celebratory song about the joys of the area, the good bits and the bad bits. It's all right, you know. Yeah, it's all right. And then, you know, we were all the idiot child once, weren't we? Yeah, it's a song about youth and irresponsibility, being the fool at school and never giving up despite being destined to fail. And it's about the system trying to knock the edges off you and breaking you down. And of course, they do it for your own good, you know. They do it for your own good. But the trick is, never lie down. Remember that. Never lie down. If you're going to take a kicking, never lie down. Then out of nowhere comes what I think is one of the most delectable tracks off the record, In the Shape of Africa. And again, it's about a man's dream of getting to the dark continent and ditching his mundane existence of, you know, work and, you know, the day-to-day routine of London, and ditching it for something more exotic. Of course, you know, he can only get to Africa when he goes off to sleep, off to dreamland. And yeah, I love it. It's great. It's that thing of wishing to be somewhere else. You shouldn't wish your life away, but sometimes we have dreams that are unattainable, and this is a good illustration of it. And, you know, even name check Southend-on-Sea, a place that my old East End heart loves dearly. And in its dying moments, the song references musically the final track of the album, which is kind of spooky. It just comes out of nowhere, so it joins itself to the title track of the record. So again, you begin to make connections, and, you know, it's quite interesting. Then we have the song NW5, and for me it's quite a tough one to get through, as it touches me personally, as it's the story of an estranged son and his father, possibly. Though the relationship is ambiguous, you know, the actual dynamic of the relationship is ambiguous. I bring my own baggage to the album, you know, so I make it all about fathers and sons, don't I? And so I find it a bit of a hard listen, but it's that thing of, you know, wanting to be a part of someone but not being a part of someone, being estranged and looking on, and, you know, and all that. and all that, he says. What an articulate young man I've grown into. Excuse me. Maybe another drop of orange juice, perhaps. Now, the penultimate track of the album is the Clerkenwell Polka. Now, for me, it's the weakest song, but it's probably because it's put next to the best song on the record, and I'm just so bloody keen to get to it. And good job, it bleeding well speeds up. Towards the end of the song, it goes, you know, it does like a polka, it speeds up, you know? So it pleases me. Now, pin your bloody lugholes back, you mugs. The title track of the album, The Liberty of Norton Folgate, should sit right up there with the likes of A Quick One by The Who and Day in the Life by those other chaps from Liverpool, because at 10 minutes 12 seconds you hear a band that is stretching itself musically and conceptually in a way that it has never done before. You know, it's growing. You see a band growing before you, and this is where the term progressive should be used. It's not about fucking time signatures or 20-minute fucking solos or a bloody mellotron. It's about a band pushing themselves and their particular genre of music forward to a new realm, to something new, something different. Yeah? You got me? Now, you get this in spades with a little bit of Norton Folgate. Now, even if you don't go and buy this album, please go and buy this track alone. Just listen to it and digest it, and you can see what real progressive music is like. Right? You've had the lecture. Now, let's actually talk about the song. Now, it starts with a kind of crackly radio broadcast effecty type thing before we thump into Suggs' dialogue as he walks us through this mythical place. It was real, it still is real, but it's changed somewhat, and his words paint a picture and you are transported to the area in a time so far away, and the imagery is rich and it conjures up history both past and present existed at the same time. That's what it is. It's about compression, it's about an area and the history of an area from here to here, but still existing. You can still feel it, it's still tangible. But it is a hymn to being free and being a part of everything you see, because we are a product of our environment, of the places we live, and we need to celebrate that. And the message is simple. We are living on borrowed ground. We are transient in both body and culture, and that London was built by the immigrant for the immigrants, which is a great message to those fascist wankers who bleat on about England for the English, when the reality is we're all a bunch of fucking mongrels, aren't we? I mean, where are you going to send me? You're going to send me to France? You're going to send me to Wales? You're going to send me to Ireland? Some say that I've actually got roots in Germany, so you're going to have to chop me into little bleeding pieces, aren't you? But of course we're only talking about the brownskins, aren't we, you fucking racist cunts? But I digress. The song itself encompasses a variety of styles, but it's rooted firmly in music hall. And again, I don't know if those of you across the Atlantic are familiar with that style, but something you might want to get into. No, it's a particular unique English thing, so I don't know if you have it in America. And finally, the band weave a strong Arabic theme at the end. It comes out of nowhere. You hear this. It's just, where's it come from? I don't know. And this theme at the end, it leads into a sing-along, and I sing along every time, I can't help it, and the ending is a romp that hits you right in the solar plexus. It is indeed a absolutely joyous noise. It really is. Now, if I could write a song 1/10 as good as this, I would exit this realm a very happy man. I would. And this is an important song in terms of its message and the music. And I'm really serious about this and can't contain my passion for this song and the album. It's a very important thing. And, that's what happens when you get into records, isn't it? We'll get passionate. Though. You might not see it from my perspective. Now, in terms of a rating, it's bleeding well obvious what I'm going to say. So, got to state the bleeding obvious. This scores a whopping and impressive, oh yes, 5 Hunchbacks of Torianos out of 5. That's 5 Hunchbacks of Torianos out of 5. Now, despite Madness being a pop band, this is a great thematic concept album. I'm sure that there is a story in there somewhere. In fact, I know that there is, because a radio play has already been broadcast on Radio 4 about this record, featuring songs from it. Yeah, so there you go. I was right. The majority of you probably won't get it, because you're here for, your fucking noodly crap that you like. But for those of you who are brave and who have actually some taste and who want to experience new things, try this. This is something truly modern and interesting and plays with the concept album format. So please, I implore you, give it a try. Open mind, give it a try. Yeah? That's it. You didn't see the join? Memory card ran out of space. I got so excited I had no concept that I was actually running out of space. There you go. So such was my excitement. But anyway, my name has been Darren Locke, and I've been extolling the virtues of The Liberty of Norton Folgate by Madness. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully it's inspired you to give it a go, and there'll be more about concept albums in the next upcoming episodes of Prog Review. Hopefully, we'll enjoy this journey together. Now, there's only one more thing to say, apart from liking this video, mister, and adding to your favourites, and subscribe to the Facebook and the Twitter, and do, because people like doing funny voices, don't they, on YouTube? So I've got to kind of get with the kids, get with the program man. So anyway, do all that stuff, but most importantly, prog on.